Atasijui, he is a jazz maestro, he is a music teacher, he is an instrumentalist, a musician himself, he is a pastor, he's a politician. I don't know if that ambition is still there, but we will figure that out. Apostle Joseph Hellon, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Mikali.
Some things really never change.
Like what?
You step in looking, shining bright like a diamond.
Thank you so much.
From the hair to the shoe to the tie.
Thank you.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
It's been a while.
Yes, it's been ages, hasn't it?
I think when you were making news in this country, I was in college.
Why you?
I was.
Oh my goodness.
I was. So I was a journalism student.
Yeah.
So you can imagine how many articles we wrote within
Yes.
the school
Yes.
about you.
Yeah.
But just maybe people, that is the time, I think about maybe 11 years ago.
Yeah, thereabout.
Thereabout.
Yeah, 11 years ago.
That's when you were a newsmaker in this country.
Yes.
And we had about you for maybe all the wrong reasons. You know, you were controversial, and in the midst of everything else,
yes,
you did not even once say, oh, well, yeah, simnisikize hata. You were just like, you know what, kwanza you media people, what are you saying? What's wrong with you guys? You called us out.
Yeah.
And well, I was a student then, but yes, you did.
Yeah.
And I'm here now, but we're setting the record straight today.
Mm-hmm.
But before we do that, take us back to, you know, Joseph Hellon, the little boy. How was he? Who was that? Who was that person?
I was always different.
Yeah.
Right from home. I grew up, and even my brothers and sisters thought I was different. I knew I was created to be a leader. I knew I was created to make a difference. So I didn't work hard to fit in.
It came.
I worked hard to do what I was called to do. So if it was music, I worked hard to become the greatest and the best. If it was the word of God, I worked hard to follow what the Bible said, not what people wanted. If it was in business, I worked hard to make money for my family and to give my family a good life. Whatever it is that I did to the best of my ability. But I had some problems. I was a stammerer.
Yeah.
I really started as a kid. So I became shy and withdrawn because I couldn't just bring out the words. Most of my primary school, I could barely talk. Yeah, but God has His mercies.
At what point did that change? Because when you went to Starehe, then your music, the music you knew was just out there. I think it started when you were about maybe 7 years old.
Yes, at 7, I was already teaching our choir, our church choir.
And they were listening to you.
And they were listening, yes. So, you know, when you have such gifts, it's not something that you work for.
No.
It's a divine enablement. God gives it to you, and then your work is to use it. And when it's outstanding and outshining like that, of course, you're going to be on the wrong side of a lot of things. Because people think you're crazy, you're not normal, you're not doing what other kids do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the music helped me because as long as I was singing, I wasn't stammering.
Ah.
Yeah.
Great.
You get that?
Okay, yes.
Yeah, as long as I was doing music, I could talk normally. In fact, I would even stand in front of people and preach without a stammer. But any other situation, especially if there was pressure, oh man, I'm telling you, the words would never come out. I would stamp my foot down. At one point, my mom sent me to the shop to buy something. I stammered there until I forgot what I was sent to buy. So I had to go back home to stammer, trying to tell Mama, I forgot. You know, it was.
Look at you, laughing your teeth right now. It must have been a struggle growing up. And
it was difficult. I was shy, embarrassed, and very self-conscious. Yeah.
And then you became this person who was on stage, and everybody would just shut up and listen.
Yes.
And you would play your music for people from all over the world.
Yeah, that's right. I thank God for that. I really am grateful to God. I'm not taking any credit whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apart from the fact that, of course, you have to put in the work, you have to do the practice, you have to be disciplined, you have to do what other musicians don't do. Because a lot of musicians are indisciplined. They make lots of money, they blow the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, they live
That's not you.
irresponsible lifestyles. No. I'm a married man with
Yes.
children.
Yes.
I take care of my mom. My mom lives in my house. You know, she raised me with all those problems.
Yeah.
So I chose to bring her into my house. I take care of my wife's mom. You know, we look after each other's families quite well. So family-wise, we are responsible, settled, established, and we are doing well.
Great.
Yes.
So all this happened before when we found out about you, Emma, when you were making news.
Yes.
This sort of like took a back seat because when you mentioned, even today, when you
Yeah.
mention Joseph Hellon, Esther Arunga will come up.
Yes.
Placenta Party will come up.
Yes.
Finger of God will come up.
Yes.
Quincy Timberlake will definitely come up, you know.
Yeah.
So that was very misconstrued understanding of the relationship of all these people. At some point, people said that you and Esther Arunga loved each other.
Yeah.
Quincy, there was Wilson as well. There was a whole
Yes.
lot of confusion around that time. And to
Yeah.
think that all these people were probably living in your house, most of them, I think Esther was living in your house by this time.
Yeah, okay. If you said that Esther and I loved each other, that's absolutely true. Because she's my cousin.
Yeah.
And I need to love my cousin.
Yes.
Yes.
That makes sense. We're setting the record straight, guys.
The only
This
trouble,
is the show.
the only trouble with most people is that if your cousin is beautiful and famous, then you
Yes.
should be having an affair. Yeah?
And no, that wasn't happening.
That was not the case
So
whatsoever.
she left her mom's house and moved into your house.
Actually, her mom brought her.
Okay.
Because we are relatives. So Esther and I used to do business together. We ran a company called People Music Group.
Okay.
So we used to do a lot of work together, a lot of businesses together. She was a major shareholder of that company. And then after some point, she said, you know, we do a lot of things in the evenings. So why not just, you know, stay together? Most of our music practices were in the evenings.
Okay.
You know, our band members would practice sometimes up to 3 a.m., you know, in the morning. You know how musicians are.
Yes.
They do their things in the night.
Whenever the magic strikes, that's
Yeah.
when you hit the studio.
So her mom came to our house in Runda, inspected a room, a beautiful self-contained room, and was quite glad that her daughter was going to stay there. And they spent a lot of time in the house. Even the mom, the brother, her sister-in-law, they visited us quite a lot. Her sisters as well, you know. So we were just one vibrant, happy family until one Quincy showed up.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Quincy is a whole conversation.
Yes.
You have a relationship with Quincy from way back when you were a child.
When I was a stammerer.
When
in-
you were
in
a stammerer.
primary school.
He was one of the few people who was just, you know what, it's okay, I got you.
Yeah, he was my desk
Yeah,
mate.
he was your desk
We
mate.
sat together. We used to run to school together. In fact, those days they used to call him Joginder Singh because there was this safari rally driver
Yeah.
called Joginder Singh.
Yes.
And because this guy was always late to school and he would run really, really fast to avoid being in trouble. So he was nicknamed Joginder Singh. Yeah.
So he was your friend at that age.
Yes, we
Then
were
you lost
friends.
contact at some point. At what
Yeah.
point did he reach out to you?
After I finished Project Fame Season 3, yeah,
okay.
I think that's when I became very well known in the country. And he reached out to me, purporting to have been in music in some parts of the United States, and that wasn't true. I later discovered it wasn't true.
Oh, okay.
I discovered the guy was in the country all along.
The whole time?
The whole time. So he was using certain white people. He was in a cartel of a bunch of con people that were operating from Hellon, and they had all these international phone numbers, and they would call you purporting to be coming from Australia or United States or South Africa. And you actually meet these white guys with, you know, dressed in suits, and
Yes,
they have
the briefcases,
and
yeah.
they're telling you how, you know, we are working in this music thing, and it becomes extremely believable.
And you believed him at that point?
At that point, I did believe, because I only got to know him for 2 weeks before I was promptly arrested.
Yes.
So
2 weeks.
2 weeks is
That
not
was very
sufficient
fast.
time
Yes, to
know
even
everything.
know you can't.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course I knew the guy.
Yes.
We were in school together. We were neighbors back up country, because I was raised in up country, you know.
Yeah.
We were neighbors, so I really knew him well. As much as people were saying he was a foreigner, he wasn't.
He looked like one. He actually, I think I remember the conversation was around that he's Nigerian.
Yeah.
And that he's illegally in the country.
Well, just that's because he lightened his skin and did Botox and all those things musicians tend to do. Yeah.
Oh well. oh well. So 2
Yeah.
weeks later, what happened at that particular day?
Okay,
Do you
so
remember it?
within these 2 weeks, Esther tells me that that she was with this guy in Wollongong University, Australia. I said, Esther, surely. You tell me many things, but this is a new one.
Okay.
Yeah, this
was the first time you were hearing about it.
It was the very first time I was hearing about this. And Esther was engaged to Wilson Malava at that time.
Yeah.
So quickly, she cancels the
wedding.
the engagement. And then I was blamed for it. People said I'm the one who cancelled it.
Well,
as if I was the one getting married.
Quincy is your friend. You sort of like look like a mentor to these two people. They go to your church.
Yes.
So you see how that blame just comes right.
It's okay. When you're a leader, the buck stops with you. And I never complained about that. Yeah. I took it in stride.
Because you'd be seen at press briefings with them.
Yes,
precisely. So we'd definitely assume, even if I won't hear anything you say, I'll just look at the visuals and be like, Pastor Hellon is there. So
yes. So anyway, imagine in 2 weeks all this happens. So I'm convinced by Esther that this was my boyfriend in Wollongong University. We lost contact. I'm just so glad that we are reunited. Yes.
Yeah.
And he had all these big promises, so Esther was extremely happy. I was shocked. But you know, when you're dealing with a 32-year-old woman, surely, who is your relative?
She knows what she wants. I'm 32, so of course, there's no way. If I love this one, I will just,
Yeah, so I couldn't really put any form of influence because that's not my nature. I don't influence people into relationships. We don't match make people. You know, you have to let somebody use their free will to do what they want to do. So of course, for it to be juicy in the media, it has to be portrayed that I participated in this thing.
Matchmaking.
But I didn't.
Wilson, at this point, what is going on with that part of the relationship?
Wilson actually spoke to me, together with a couple of guys that were in my church, and said, this guy is a con man. And I told them, give me time to find out myself. Because even you guys, when you came to church, you had issues, you had problems. Church is for people like this.
That's true.
Yeah. So give me time. Let's not take any action. Let's just study him. And he will just stand out.
Okay.
You see, if he's genuine, we'll find out. If he's truly repentant, because he said he had done some crazy things and he wanted to repent. He wanted to start following God and stuff like that. So
it's not in your place to turn him off or turn him away.
It's not in my place. It's not. Yeah.
Okay.
And then Esther endorses him. And I think, maybe the guy is actually properly reformed. Because he never lied to me. He said he had done crazy things. He had conned people. He had done crazy things. So when these people were saying he was a con man, I said, well, that's not news to me. He's
because
actually
you already know.
Yeah.
Does Esther know at this point that this guy used to be, will continue being a con man?
I don't know what was going on in Esther's mind.
Yeah.
But I can hastily state that she tended to be easily taken by rich people.
Okay.
There was that tendency. Now, somebody might think I'm accusing her, but I'm telling the truth.
Yeah, I mean, your cousin, what's going on?
I'm telling the truth.
Okay.
Because that was the third relationship she was getting into with somebody who promised lots of money.
Did Wilson have money?
Yeah, of course he was. But Wilson was a good guy.
Okay.
There was no problem with him at all. He was a good guy, upright, serving God to the best of his ability. So I really didn't have a problem with Wilson. But there were others, 3 others before Wilson.
Okay.
In fact, there was a guy that used to use her own money to take her out. He used to steal money from her to take her out.
And she would know about this?
She got to know much later. But she would never listen.
That means you two were pretty close.
Yes, we were.
Very, very close.
Yeah. She would not listen. She would be so stubborn until things really go wrong. Yeah. So this one didn't surprise me. There was that knack for the bad boy. Yeah. There was that knack. Yes. It was there.
So they got together, and what about the parents?
Now, the parents were my friends. But when this guy, Quincy, came into the picture, they became angry. And I remember her mom coming to us in Runda, and my wife sat down with the mom and said, look, if Esther has decided to love Quincy and you try to fight her, you're going to cement the relationship.
That's true.
That's how it always happens.
Yeah.
If a woman decides that the thug in the neighborhood is the one she loves, just leave her alone. She will come out of it herself. But if you fight her, then she'll run to that very same person as her soulmate. And that's exactly what Esther did. And Esther's mom came to us together with her firstborn and his wife. The firstborn is a medical doctor.
Yeah.
And we sat in the living room and my wife spoke to her and said, as a woman, just listen to me. If your daughter has chosen that this is the path she wants to follow, don't fight her. If you do, she'll stick to this man and she will forget about everyone else.
And that is what she did.
That's exactly
what she
happened,
did.
because
And
this guy's brought in the cops.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Finger of God for a
Yeah,
bit.
yes.
So we also get to find out around this time that there's a church called Finger
Yes.
of God that we did not know about.
Yeah.
And there are accusations that Pastor Joseph Hellon is running a cult.
Yeah.
And that went on for a bit. You were
Yeah.
arraigned in court.
Yes.
What is going on at that point in your head, facing your congregation, your wife at that point?
My wife and I were quite happy.
Oh.
We didn't have any problem at all, because in ministry, if you read the Bible closely, any person who was genuinely called by God suffered persecution. They were misunderstood. Jesus himself was called a devil worshipper. Imagine the Son of God. They said, you're using demons' power to heal the sick and to cast out demons. And Jesus said, how can a demon cast out a demon? So those accusations didn't bother us, because they are promised in the Bible. In fact, the Bible says that if people only say good things about you, woe unto you, because that's what they did to your forefathers who were false prophets. So if people are clapping for you and praising you all the time, there could be a problem with you. But if you're following God honestly and sincerely, and I'm not saying that we were perfect, because all human beings are in the process of development, character development. That's what the Bible does to us. It makes us better people. And where we are wrong, we apologize. Where we are right, we stick on to the word. So we didn't really see any problem with that, because the Bible promises it. And when they arrested us, it's also promised. They shall be cast into prison.
Yes.
But don't worry, I'll get you out. And we actually came out.
That went on for what, about 1.5 years?
Yes, 1.5 years. We were taken to court accused of being cult leaders and all those things. And for 1.5 years, the case was heard. And lo and behold, not a single evidence that we were. The case was thrown out. I promptly sued the government for illegal arrest, illegal incarceration, illegal prosecution, messing up with my career, and I'm an innocent person. And they failed to prove all these allegations. Not one person came out, not one person. In fact, the magistrate said, what a waste of time. That you cannot wake up in the morning, go to somebody's house, arrest them, accuse them of things you can't prove. Now, if Quincy was a bad guy and he got married to Esther, what's illegal about that?
Nothing is illegal.
It's a choice between two adults.
Yeah.
So what am I supposed to do about that?
I watched an interview where, Hellon, you were saying that, well, it was a question about, Esther Arunga being brainwashed, and it was all over the newspapers, the news, TV shows, that Esther Arunga was brainwashed. And in this particular interview, you confirmed that you think that she was. And that Quincy was also participating in witchcraft.
Yes, that's true. Quincy participated in witchcraft.
Is it something that he said to you? Did you?
Yes,
how
he
did you?
Yeah, he did. Those are some of the things he asked if I could help him get out of. He said, look, I've been participating in witchcraft. I use witchcraft to con people, to confuse people's minds. He told me that. He said, and I need help. I want to come out. But he was doing that to infiltrate. He wasn't serious about change. And that happens all over. Can you imagine he used the very same power to confuse a whole embassy, Australian embassy. Yeah, he was given asylum in Australia.
Yes, he was.
A political asylum for what? Yeah, this is an embassy that does proper due diligence.
Yes.
He was given status there, a house, a political asylum. Who was after him? How did he get that?
Sure.
How did he get that? So witchcraft works. It worked during the days of the Bible. Yeah, it worked during the days of the Bible. It still works today. So the woman was bewitched.
Oh, goodness.
As simple as that. Yeah.
When she left the country and they relocated to Australia, did you keep contact? Did you continue?
Yes, I did.
Or did she cut you off?
I tried, but she cut me off. In fact, when she was recently accused, together with her husband, of being an accessory in the death of their child, one of my colleagues, very close to me as well, was traveling to visit her sister at the very same time in Australia. I sent her to Esther's lawyer, and Esther plainly refused to meet her because we wanted to help.
Yeah.
She plainly refused. She said, if you're not accepting Quincy, I will not have anything to do with you.
My goodness.
Those were her last words to me in 2010, December. when we parted ways. And she's maintained those words.
To
That,
date.
yeah, if I'm not going to support her relationship, she'll
Then-
have nothing to do with me. Then the Kenyans blame me for something. Whose honor says,
loved Esther.
if you don't support me,
Yes.
Hellon, I will have nothing to do with you.
And
But-
your help.
Yeah, but Kenyans say I'm the one who put her in that situation.
You know, Hellon, I'm so sorry about the things that we did to you, but
Thank you.
Esther was a darling. We loved her. I think it's in the way she told us the news. Maybe it was in the smile, the dimples. I do not know.
Do you know something, my dear Mwikali?
Yes.
Do you know that all the shine, all the glamour, you know, all the poshness that Esther exuded
Yeah.
were things I trained her about? Those are some of the things we used to do. I trained people in public speaking, content creation, public appearance, yeah, pronunciation of words correctly. Okay, I trained people in such things, and I taught her those things. Those days, Katie and really emphasized that ladies should be small.
Yes.
So I even took her through a certain type of diet that enabled her to look as small as they wanted.
Goodness, and here we are just pointing fingers at you, Hellon.
Uh-huh.
But before we come to the end of this conversation, placenta party, placenta party.
Yes.
This also came up at the same time when you
Yes,
wanted
it
to run
did.
for president.
I wanted to run for president, and we
you
had
still want to?
discussed. Yes, I will do that, but in the near future.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Continue,
Yeah,
please.
I'm still a young person. Yeah, most of the guys in politics now are almost twice my age, but
I agree, though. Okay.
so it's okay. I still have time to prepare and to plan and all that. But I'm glad I made the announcement.
Yes, you did.
It means that it's actually possible. Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to run, and Esther was going to be my running mate. These are plans we had way before Quincy came onto the picture. But for him to be loved by Esther, he jumped onto the bandwagon.
Yes.
Then he came up with this crazy name. That was not anything I sanctioned whatsoever. But because we were already in legal issues, I didn't want to rouse.
Yes.
I just wanted to flow with this thing
Yeah.
until we are all out of trouble. And then I would take action, which is exactly what I did.
Yeah.
As soon as we were out of trouble and the court cases were out, I confronted him, cut links with him, and also got out of the placenta party. Because he's the one who started that. You see,
okay,
a presidential
okay.
candidate is not supposed to be a
Okay.
chairman of a party.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I didn't agree with it at all.
At all.
At all.
I'm being told my time is up, and I wouldn't want you to leave without, we did some things, we said things to you, Hellon.
Yes.
What would be your message to Kenyans, the media today?
Yeah.
That you're sitting here, we're laughing about it, we're talking about it. It has taken a long time
Yes.
for even us to be able to be very open and candid.
Yes.
And, feel like, it's about time that we start,
Yeah.
healing and
Yes.
forgiving and knowing the truth.
Yeah.
So what would be your message to, and this is your camera.
Oh, first thing, I love every single person. I'm a minister of the gospel. I preach the gospel of forgiveness. Really, that's what salvation is about. So right from the onset, I never had any issue with anybody. In fact, those who took me to court are my friends right now. We hug each other, we eat together, we do things together. So forgiveness is granted. You don't even have to ask for it. It's
Thank
granted.
you so
And we are
much.
not bitter, okay?
No.
and the past doesn't define our future. We are
No, it
happy and
doesn't.
successful. And we bless everybody. And we bless God.
Thank you for telling your story.
Most
and
welcome.
thank you for coming on to the show.
Thank
It
you
is
so
such
much for
an
having
honor.
me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm just going to read an SMS as we go on a break. Shout out to Hellon for coming forward to clear the air about this story and turning things around this story. I think Kenyan media did him a real injustice.
Oh my
You
goodness.
deserve this SMS.
Thank you.
We're taking a very short commercial break. When we come back, we're talking about Mama's Boys with Benjamin Zulu. Don't go too far. We'll be right back.